Welcome to the Genesis Mindset. In today's episode, I want to see if we've finally hit the bottom of the Atropa ecosystem and is the reversal here? Or if I was accumulating, would I be waiting to buy more? What would I be doing? So this doesn't necessarily mean that you should follow what I'm doing, but I'm going to share with you what I would be doing. So also keep in mind, just because I have a camera and a YouTube channel doesn't mean that I'm an expert. So I'm going to caveat that with this. So I'm also going to show you what I'm seeing and how the Don actually made a great call on YouTube the other day. So also going to go into the Bankless hypocrisy and why we need to actually muster the right kind of energy for this moment. And finally sharing the Gorgy CRYPTY's epically bullish Pulsechain video. So with that, I'm going to hope that this is going to be a reasonably short episode, but there's always that intention. But let's see how we go. So first, looking at the Bitcoin dominance. So one of the things that I've been looking at recently is when we see a reversal in the Bitcoin dominance, this also usually means a reversal in Pulsechain and altcoins. So for example, if we see it bearish in the Bitcoin dominance, then this is bullish. So during this particular period here, we had bullish signs in Pulsechain and the Pulsechain ecosystem. So this is something that I'm keeping my eyes on. So if we have some kind of massive reversal happening here, and I'm not talking about, I mean, this is something that's only just recently been brought to my attention that I want to start to more and more looking at the macro market. I like to look at the macro market on Pulsechain. Now I'm trying to extend my vision out to the macro market of all of crypto. So for me, I think obviously we're still waiting on Donald Trump for the 20th. So this is a few days away. And we haven't really seen a massive reversal. So people keep highlighting this information here. So I think because I continuously see people like Moon King talk about it, Crypto Kings, I'm seeing like really big channel, like big Twitter accounts that I follow talking about it. I want to start keeping my eyes on it as well. And a few other people who follow this channel have brought this to my attention. So haven't seen a big sign of a reversal there. So that's one indicator that it's like, okay, maybe the reversal is not in just quite yet. Doesn't necessarily mean that the reversal is not in just because this is not showing it. What you want, well, what I like to look for is a confluence across the board. So when you have all your indicators, so I'd consider this as an indicator, having a confluence, then it increases your conviction. So if you're only having one indicator, for example, if you're just going to be looking at, say, the Atropa chart and you're looking at the RSI, that's just one indicator. And if you see a reversal there, okay, well, you might go, well, this is the reversal, but you didn't take into account all these other factors. So then you might not have called the reversal correctly. So there's no guarantees. You're just trying to increase your probabilities of calling that by getting a confluence of all the indicators confirming the thesis of bullish or bearish. So we got to know here. But what is interesting about this is, so I'm going to go here because the Don, it was a great call by the Don. So the Don on the channel the other day said that the 12th of January was going to be a reversal. And I have to say, there was certainly a big bullish candle on the 12th. So if we go to the daily here, I mean, not a big bullish candle, but basically, you know, it kind of it in a way broke out of this downtrend, you could say, in a way. And I've started to see people draw these kinds of things. I'm starting to see these kinds of things all over Twitter. Obviously, we have the FUD there, which we can't really, I mean, we kind of ignore this kind of anomaly, but people draw these kinds of like falling wedges. And so you've seen like a breakout here. So is this bullish or bearish? Well, yeah, okay, it's bullish, it broke out, but does that mean that we've broken out of the downtrend? So one of the things that you would see, say, the Crypto Kings talk about is if this ends up rejecting now this downtrend. So if we get a rejection, then it's reversing. So that means, okay, this is one indicator where it's showing, okay, there's a potential sign of a reversal here. In my mind, the way that I feel about this is I call this like, this is just pure speculation. I call this like a Jeet rally. So basically, all these people who are like crying about the price and why haven't we hit $1 million for Pulsechain? Why haven't we hit $10 million for PulseX? Why haven't I been able to buy a Lamborghini yet? I've only been holding this thing for 3 years and my expectations are extremely high. I'm expecting my $1,000 to have turned into at least $10 million by now. Why hasn't that happened? Why? Richard Hart, it's your fault. This community, it's your fault. That community, it's your fault. Those types of people, they're looking to get out. They're the people that don't have faith in this ecosystem. They're the people that bought this thing without any conviction, and they're just looking for some opportunity to get out. So quite often I see these, well, not quite often, but I have spotted these types of things in the past where it looks like, oh, great, we've had a reversal and like a breakout of this trend, but it's ended up coming back down. So for example, this is a really good example here, because people are still in this kind of real deep fear stage and uncertainty. Well, actually, I mean, to be perfectly honest, this is actually a really good example of, yeah, it actually did break out, but it did also form. It almost formed a lower low. So it could have shaken you out a little as well. So basically, it's like these types of people are really looking to get out and hoping to get out on any that they're sick of the downtrending. They're seeing the rest of the market maybe like this coin went up, that coin went up. Why is my coin not going up? So any sign that I'm going to sell on a red, but they will sell on something that they perceive to be like, okay, I'm getting my best bang for buck here. So maybe this is where those people are going to start to get out, and that's why we're going to start to go down. So for me, this is another one of those potential signs where we have to kind of confirm some kind of a rebound off this. So for me, potentially the bottom is in. Potentially the bottom is in, but I still don't think that the bottom is in. That's just me personally. That's just my gut feel towards it. That's just with the signs of volume that I'm seeing here. It's not a huge amount of volume. It's the volume is slowly decreased over time. I want to see the volume slowly increasing over time. So obviously here, you're starting to see the volume is increase. Here the volume is starting to increase, and obviously it's getting more and more bullish. So same thing happened here. So the volume decreased, then it started to increase. So these are the things that I'm looking for. So I'm looking at lots of different kinds of indicators. So here, the volume is still on the downtrend. So for me, I think the price is still going to be on the downtrend because I haven't seen a big reversal here, because I haven't seen a big spike in volume, and because I haven't seen Donald Trump get in yet. I think everybody's expecting, oh, Donald Trump's going to get in, everything's going to rocket. Well, when these scenarios have happened, Bitcoin rockets, but not really everything else. Maybe just one or two certain things will rocket, but not really everything else. So that's another reason why I'm like, okay, there was some signs, but I'm not quite convicted yet that we are in a bottom. I'm also looking here. I'm seeing the same thing, obviously due to the liquidity bonding. Looking at, let's take this to the daily, or actually let's take it to the 3 daily. And obviously, again, same thing. I still think potentially pDAI can go down to the 1 cent mark again. I think, the fact that we had this nice big, not big, but we had this green candle, not huge, but it was still a green candle on the 10th. So this is what started on the 10th. So similar to what we just saw with PulseX. So I think we're still going to come down. I think we're still going to retest the 1 cent mark, perhaps even dip below it. And dipping below the 1 cent mark will be like the ultimate sort of capitulation of this whole ecosystem. Then I think it's kind of like, we hear this often, like flushing out the weak hands. I think it's going to come below the 1 cent mark, because I think 1 cent is like, it's a big psychological indicator, the 1 cent mark. And it's like, if it holds 1 cent, it maintains confidence. There's also people that are waiting to get in at the 1 cent mark. But if it drops below 1 cent, then those people who don't have high conviction are going to lose their conviction and sell it lower. And then this is what the market makers would want. They want it to go a little bit lower, as low as it can possibly go, so that they can buy the maximum amount, so that they can continue to control the market. This is how markets work. So that's just my thinking around it. I'd love to know what you guys actually think, what you guys see, whether you guys actually think that this is some kind of breakout yet, or if we're still going to wait. I think we're still personally a few weeks away. But again, I'm just speculating. I don't know. Maybe the reverse is in. The way that I would play this, if I had spare capital, I would be accumulating. I'd be just accumulating on the way down. So I'd be looking at this going, right, anything, if my thesis is that this is going to get to $1, it's 1.1 cent at the moment. That could possibly be the best deal that I ever get, ever, for the rest of history on this particular coin. If it goes down even lower, then I'll just accumulate more. So the kind of strategy that I like to implement is buy in stages of 3. So if I was looking at around this kind of a level, I'd accumulate some now. I'd accumulate some maybe when it gets to around the 1 cent mark, and then I'd hope for it to go even lower, and then I'd accumulate more. And if it doesn't go lower and it gets bullish again, well, then maybe I'd buy some more between the 1.2 to 1.5 cent mark. That's what I would do. And then so I've really just accumulated around this area. And then I can cover all bases, because whether or not I get that perfect low or whether or not I'm just getting like an average of that low, it doesn't really matter, because you're never really going to pick the bottoms and you're never really going to pick the tops. So we're just speculating. So that's why I try to formulate a thesis based on all the things that I see. So what are some other things that I see? Always, again, looking back to this chart, this was one of the key pieces of information that I possibly have been missing in the channel. And so I've layered this into it, and I'm still seeing the same signs. So I'm seeing this sideways action in down and Atropa, which is bearish. I mean, this is like a bearish thing. If we see a reversal like we saw here and it starts to be bullish, then it's extremely bearish for the Atropa ecosystem. It just means all of Atropa ecosystem, including pDAI, will also go down if down is going up. But if we start to see the signs of a green candle, more like a deeper red candle, then that starts to get more bullish. Right now, while it's sideways, it's kind of neutral and just trending down. When it does this, it's neutral / trending down, neutral / trending down. And then same thing here. It's kind of neutral heading towards a down. So yes, this is like the final piece of the puzzle that I've added into the Atropa ecosystems, the way that I'm analyzing it. So for me, I don't know. What do you guys actually think? Do you think the bottom is in? Do you think it could go lower? What's your strategy to buy? Do you wait for the perfect ultimate bottom where it's below 1 cent, or do you accumulate bit by bit? Just for my own mind, for the sake of my own mindset, I have found that the thing that works best for me is to buy in stages. If I try and wait for that perfect bottom and I don't get it, I feel there's like a sensation of stress in my body. And there's also a sensation of stress of like waiting for that ultimate bottom. And also, generally, the ultimate bottoms and ultimate tops happen during the American market when I'm fast asleep. So for me, for my own peace of mind, I like to just accumulate in stages. And that just keeps my mind really calm, really at ease. And I'm happy with whatever way it goes, because I can accumulate either if it goes slightly up or slightly down. I cover all the bases. What I have found in the past is that I accumulate that my time frame for accumulation was too short. That's something that has really improved during this last year and a half of Pulsechain, where basically maybe before I started Pulsechain, I would get to these kind of periods and I'd sort of start selling out everything within like the day. So then, for example, let's say this was the top, I would have sold here and then sold here and then sold here, because it's going down and my mind's like, oh, I want to try and sell it for maximum gains. But the market, it moves a little bit slower than we think. So obviously now it came up to retest. So if I had waited, instead of selling down here, if I had waited for here, then I could have sold at a better price. So yeah, those are the things. I mean, I didn't actually sell any pDAI at these particular points. I mean, I was calling the top, but I didn't take the action. I think I was a little bit too I don't know. It was like my portfolio was just looking so healthy that it was like, do I really want to muck around with buys and sells right now? I thought I'm just going to leave it because my portfolio looked so extremely good. So yeah, I don't know. Again, what do you guys think? So top of the morning to you too, Andrew. Greetings from Polski. What's going on? Live, laugh, love. El Mordo. I'm assuming that means good morning, possibly Velmarty. Nice to see you in here, Velmarty. Never seen you in here, so I don't know what language that is. So what's going on, Homicidal and G-Baby Gang in this beer? LFG, love, love, love. 33, nice, love yourself. Nice name too, love yourself. Marcus. Top of the morning to you too, sir. And what's up, Conspiracy Crypto? So yes, again, this is the beauty of the Atropa ecosystem. Pick a coin and go with it. Doesn't matter what it is. There's different branches within the Atropa ecosystem where you can like hedge against yourself. So for example, or like play in like different sort of assets within the Atropa ecosystem. But for the most part, everything is moving together. So you can see here, Atropa is moving, and then this is pDAI this is BFF, that Deloitte is moving with Atropa, which is moving with Pulsechain, and then Teddy Bear is moving with Atropa, which is moving with Pulsechain. TRSI is moving with Atropa, which is moving with Pulsechain. So you pick you pick what you like and just go with it. And honestly speaking, it's probably a good idea to pick something with high liquidity and not a lot of holders, because then it's something where as you sell, you're not selling on top of anyone, you're not destroying the price. As you sell, let's say if you want to become like a TRSI whale, there's probably not many. And so as you're selling into TRSI as it's going up, you're kind of also benevolently selling as well, because you're selling into an asset that not a lot of people are in. And then also the ARBs will fill the gaps between all the different liquidity pools as well. So you're not harming as many people and you're also benefiting the ecosystem. So it's a really fascinating ecosystem to be a part of. But then you can also have your hedges. So you hedge against the Atropa ecosystem through down and TSFI. Then you can also, obviously you've got Teddy Bear, which is like got all the attention as a meme coin. BFF that the late has got a lot of the attention as the meme coin. So I try to keep these ones up here to try and keep my eyes on them. BFF that the late pushed up to the 8K mark. So this was also like a very clear bullish sign for me, where I saw, okay, we had this big bullish candle, but again, I still don't feel like the bottom is in. That's just my personal gut feel. Even though here, yeah, we're seeing reversals in the volume, but yeah, not really seeing reversals in the volume on Teddy Bear, for example, or neither with I mean, okay, there's signs of reversal in the volume with the Atropa, but not with Pulsechain or PulseX. So those are the things that I like to keep an eye on. And then you look at something like G-Baby that the GWAT. So G-Baby that the GWAT against Pulsechain, again, it's the same. It's so easy. Once you start to, well, it's not so easy, but once you really start to, I mean, I don't, to be perfectly honest, I don't usually do these things. This is a Moon King thing. I don't, I'm trying to learn TA and I'm trying to like add layers into the way that I do things. But yeah, I mean, for TA, you should be watching the Crypto Kings, for example, within the Pulsechain ecosystem. That would be something that I'd be really keeping my mind on if I was you guys. So yeah, you look at this and you're like, okay, great, it's had a breakout. So it's bullish. If I bought anything in here, then it's looking kind of bullish. But as it's dipping down, if I'm loving G-Baby that the GWAT, G-Baby that the GWAT has a ton of holders. It's like the newest meme coin in the Atropa ecosystem. It has like hundreds of people in the Telegram channel. So this is another really good coin. So if I had spare dry powder and I was like, okay, how can I enter the Atropa ecosystem these days? Yeah, these days, it's almost like, how much do you want to split up your pie? Some people, like one of my meditation buddies, he's just all in on Teddy Bear. So that's the only one he is. One of my boys, Muddy, he's got a little bit in this, he's got a little bit in that, but most of it in Teddy Bear, because again, it's got the most attention. So he strategized his idea on where the attention is. That's a really good strategy. And you can't go wrong with that, in my opinion. And I think Teddy Bear is going to be the #1 meme coin in all of cryptocurrency. That's my thesis. If Pulsechain is #1, if Pulsechain becomes the #1 blockchain by volume, Teddy Bear will become the #1 meme coin in all of cryptocurrency. It will flip Doge, Shiba Inu. It will flip them all. Might not last for a long period of time, but it will flip them, in my opinion. That's just my personal thesis because of the backing liquidity of the Atropa ecosystem. However, you might look at G-Baby and go, well, there's possibly more upside potential in G-Baby. This doesn't necessarily mean this also has more risk, because it doesn't have someone like the Crypto Kings shilling G-Baby as opposed to Teddy Bear, where they put a lot of their attention on Teddy Bear. So obviously, I think Ian's got tens of thousands. Moon King's just peaked 100,000 followers on Twitter. Their YouTube channel is fantastic. They're involved in a lot of big communities. They went on Crypto Banter, Rand Nunes show, and I'm just my perspective. I think possibly the Crypto Banter, when Moon King went on Crypto Banter, I think that was probably the biggest onboarding event in Pulsechain. That's kind of what I'm theorizing. So I believe Moon King got onto Crypto Banter around basically this period here. So around about December of 23, middle of December 23. I believe it was around this period here. So as you can see, this really just smashed out Teddy Bear. And look at this candle. It's been, yeah, I mean, actually almost until the most recent one, it was the biggest bullish event for Teddy Bear. And I believe it was probably the biggest onboarding event within a short period of time on Pulsechain. So do not fade the Crypto Kings. He will go back on. I'm sure Moon King's going to go back on Rand Nuna's show. I have no doubt about that. And then also he's doing a fight with Jake Gegan. So, these guys are really, these guys are, Ian is they're pro athletes. Ian is like a UFC champ. These guys know how to work hard. They know how to go for something. When they put their mind to something, they go for it. They don't give up. They're not weak-minded. They're strong-minded. So those are the types of guys that I want to back. Those are the kinds of coins that I want to back. So yeah, one of the strategies could simply be just going to Teddy Bear, and you might get your highest upside potential there. So yeah, what do you guys actually think? So Marcus, I'm out of dry powder. No more strawberries until peg. Damn, bro, you need to start selling some of those strawberries, man. They sell at a premium here in Australia. Everything's getting much more expensive here. So Quansu. What's Quansu? Quansu, not too sure. Yes, thank you, Homicidal. Please hit the like button, share this out. If you're on Twitter, just share it, spread the good word of the Atropa ecosystem. I noticed, for example, yeah, I mean, people still don't know about the Atropa ecosystem. And in my opinion, the Atropa ecosystem, I side with Maria when he says that he believes the Atropa ecosystem is going to be one of the best investments in cryptocurrency for a very, very long time. Due to the math, due to the liquidity bonding, due to the way that he is, in a way, designing the whole ecosystem. And there's still people within Pulsechain that don't know about it, let alone people outside of Pulsechain. So I saw a Hex Tangent tweet, and I mean, Hex Tangent probably is only really pumping his own tokens, but he mentioned, welcome to Pulsechain tweet, and, use Rabby and use this wallet, Internet Wallet IO, and these are the types of communities. And he mentioned like the top 10 communities, and Atropa wasn't in there, and pDAI, and I'm like, what? Atropa and pDAI is like way better than the Tang Gang, without a shadow of a doubt. That's not to say that Tang Gang is not good. It just means that this definitely has more liquidity. This definitely has more upside. This definitely is performing better, and this will continue to perform better, in my opinion. So to exclude it is either ignorant. I don't think it's ignorant. I think it's more like self-interest. So yeah, we really have to keep putting the word out because people don't know. So yeah, it's like if you want to pump your bags, you have to be the one to do the work to pump the bags, to put the word out. So hit the like, share it out, spread it out. So Papa Shred, why for what? Sorry, bro. Why for what? If you can elaborate that in the comment, I will answer the why. Because obviously, as I talk, yeah. Subrider, what up, Coco? What's going on, man? Good day, sir. Good day, Puffy. Nice to see the familiar names in here. Polska Grom. So Polish something. Atropa to 750. Yes, by the time it gets to $1. And what's going on, Matt? Always good to see you in here, Matt. So for Teddy hitting hard. What was that in the context for Teddy hitting hard? For Teddy hitting hard. What about it hitting hard? What did I say about it hitting hard? Polska Grom. Poland rules. I accept that. Oh, gee, I think you explained it. Yes. For Teddy Bear being... Yeah, so I have... If you want to actually go on my channel, search Teddy Bear on the computer. If you're on the computer, you go to my channel, search Teddy Bear, and then you'll see like I outline a thesis for why I think it's a #1 meme coin. So for a variety of different reasons. One is Pulsechain becoming #1. I think that has to come into the equation. 2, it has like massive shillers that are really talking about it continuously. 3, it's a cycle 1. It's a cycle 1 meme coin. So it has a lot of new attention. 4, it's easily memeable and universally applicable. So it's not like, okay, so Pokemon, for example, if you hate Pokemon, then you maybe just from that reason, you're going to say, well, I'm not going to buy any of their Pokemon coins. Or I don't really like cats, so I'm not going to buy a cat meme, just for example. But Teddy Bear is like, who doesn't love a teddy bear? Everybody's had some form of a teddy bear at some point in their life. So everybody's experienced it. So it's universally applicable. And the ace up the sleeve is the Atropa ecosystem liquidity web. So all the liquidity that backs it through the thousands or the hundreds of pools that are connected to it can funnel into it and pump the shit out of it. That's really the ace up the sleeve. So yeah, So there we go. So diversify. I think maybe this is the first time I've seen you in here. What's going on, man? So, and then another little avenue that's forming in the Atropa ecosystem now is HUX. So this is something that is, HotX. So this is something that's very, very cool that I'm really loving to see the growth of HotX. So this would have been, I think maybe when I was showing some math at that particular time, showing what you can actually do and where it can go and what you can get. So obviously this is a leverage play on, yeah, here we go. So this is a leverage play on your EHEX. So this is Maria's attempt at pumping EHEX. So for a short-term staker, instead of staking it in Ethereum and getting slammed by fees, you could probably bridge it over to Pulsechain, swap it for this. And if people continue to do this and it continues to go up, then that's extremely bullish. And again, because of the liquidity bonding with all of the rest of the Atropa ecosystem, other kinds of tokens that it's connected to. So I know, for example, the other Hex token that Maria created, which was HUX, that's another one that he created, which he still owns like 99% of the supply, I believe. So then he could use that to pump the crap out of this, for example. So I look at these situations and I'm like, boy, oh boy, there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of different kinds of plays that are starting to emerge. So you have the kind of safety of just picking any of these tokens and going with it. Then you have the hedges, which is down in Atropa, down in TSFI. And then you have these alternate plays like HUX or HotX rather. And then obviously also the different kinds of memes. And so you can measure what's going to have the most gains against the most kinds or different kinds of tokens. But either way, against PulseX, against Pulsechain, all of these outperform Pulsechain. So, I mean, this is against Pulsechain. Obviously, this is when Maria sold the crap out of it. But now against Pulsechain, this is moving up a lot higher than Pulsechain is moving up. So they move with it, but they're moving like it's like an elastic band. So they're stretching even further. So if Pulsechain goes and does a 100% move, maybe G-Baby does a 300% move, or Teddy Bear does a 400% move, for example. So those are the things that you should start to measure. So again, my thesis at the minute, the bottom is not in. We're still in a good accumulation area, but it could well be in. It could well be in. But because of the way that I play it, where I would just buy in stages, either way, it doesn't bother me and it doesn't stress me out at all. And again, because we have Trump coming up, wait for a pump there to happen first, and then that will flow into the rest of crypto coins. And that's just my hypothesis. Okay. What's going on? Cookie de chocolate. So yes, cocoa. People, we love the cocoa. So how many of you create your own Lao token? I hope a lot of people have created their Lao tokens. This is, yeah, I mean, so with the Laos, there's a lot of things. I've kind of put a pause on that for the minute, just because of everything that happened with Zach. I was like, okay, there's a few things here where it's like, okay, I kind of don't want to rush into this too much. I don't want anyone else to get hurt, but I think it's still good to get into it, and I will get around to it. But I think with the Lao tokens, once I figure out or backtrend my buy bot and how I actually did it and share that in a video, do a tutorial for how to create your own buy bot, I think it's going to be really bullish for the Lao tokens. So yeah, I'll go more into that into the future. So good stuff, Huzzers. Huzzers. What kind of name is that? Is that some sort of language, or is that what does that mean? Because that's a very difficult one to pronounce. I hope everyone here done it and already learning this ecosystem. I hope so too. Yeah, even just to muck around with it. You can mint your tokens. You can buy into your liquidity pools. You can keep building up your liquidity web. So, all right. Now, obviously, recently. Okay. So it's like a play on your surname. Cool, man. All right. Hazas. All right, it's just the X that makes it hard. So, okay, so one of the things that I have noticed with this, we had Charles Hoskinson, the Charles Hoskinson FUD, and it was a very unintentional FUD, but it ended up inciting the wrath of all of Pulsechain. So everybody started to go after Charles. I wasn't a fan of the way that people went after him. And I tried to go after him in a very diplomatic and friendly kind of a way, just to help him see that he's actually wrong. But what did he end up doing? He ended up bunkering down. He ended up doing a 20-minute video of basically how he wasn't wrong, but he did it in a very polite way. So I gave him credit for that, but he didn't want to admit that he was wrong. And I believe that he was wrong. He presented misinformation and he held on to that misinformation, which I thought was a big mistake. And so the community went after him. We really went after him. So there was all this energy that went after him. Then Bankless, I've seen like nowhere near as much energy going after Bankless as I have against Charles. And I was quite surprised, but also because I'm very in tune with my body and mind, I also felt like a depletion of energy when I saw this Bankless thing. It was almost like I almost felt like exhausted from all the Charles Hoskinson stuff. So I also was like, I kind of can't be bothered going after these Bankless guys. But I thought, you know what? These Bankless guys have been so disingenuous. They've been cheering. They've been cheering. They've been cheering the SEC on to get Richard Hart. So I thought that was disgusting. And I think that that's so... It's just disgusting, man. Like, if you don't know anything about this ecosystem and then you're cheering for this guy to go to prison, calling him a scammer, who has he scammed? Who's been scammed? I've been in this ecosystem now for 5 years. Okay, the token price is down, but I haven't been scammed. I'm a day one hex tick and I'm still up on all of my hex. I bought some when it was 20 cents and I'm down on that. No one's been scammed. If Richard was going to run away with the supply, he would have already run away with the supply. Why go through the pain of creating Pulsechain? Even creating Pulsechain, it's like, why go through all of that pain? You know, when it was, you know, the whole 2 weeks, two more weeks, 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks, that meme that just went on forever. And it ended up being like 2 or 3 years of development on Pulsechain. Why would you go through all that pain and suffering and money, because it's not going to be cheap to be paying for all those devs that are building the blockchain? Why would you do all of that if you're just going to rug and scam? So to leave out that kind of information and just continuously call him a scammer is so disingenuous and disgusting. And then to cheer on the SEC, it's like, it's disgusting. So they accuse Richard Hart of being a scammer and a grifter. And so let's have a look at this little clip. So this is a famous this is a famous clip in the Pulsechain and Hex law. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I'll play it in case you haven't.
Have these like super awesome foundations and just like they just keep on enabling the worst.
Do you think that
it's hard to justify what the hell we're doing here, man?
Do you think this is a layer 0 problem? Is it a problem with kind of the social layer?
It's like, if we'll make these super cool applications and then scammers just can leverage them better. Have
Oh, bros, this whole time I was talking for so long. Oh, man, that's the worst. Fuck. Oh, my goodness. That was literally like, oh, how bad. Oh, shit. Oh, no. Oh, gosh. Oh, rugged. Absolutely rugged. Oh, man. That was like what? Jesus Christ. That's so bad. That's so bad. I'm so sorry. Ah, and you guys have stuck around all this time. You guys are legends. Legends. Holy crap. Because I have to mute this thing when I play sound so I don't get the echo. Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness. So the whole points of like, well, hopefully everybody was meditating in the silence there. So normally I follow the chat so well as well. Oh, but I got some super chats. This is the most super chats that I've ever got in a stream. So thank you very much. Oh my goodness. Boy, oh boy. Oh, wow. I feel like I've like lost the energy of all of that now. So just to summarize.
Having like super awesome foundations and like,
oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Gee whiz. So anyway, basically, how am I going to get people to skip like half of the boy, how embarrassing. I'm so sorry. And you guys who stuck around and the viewer count actually went up. It was like half an hour there of just talking to myself. God damn. So basically, what I was saying is a lot of energy went into denouncing Charles Hoskinson, and that energy fizzled out with denouncing these guys. What I'm saying is these guys are hypocrites. They're hypocrites. So they are paid for shillers. So they go and point the fingers at people like Richard Hart. They have no evidence that he's a scammer. They have no evidence that he sold any coins. And they hate him for it. And not only do they hate him for it and denounce him, they also are basically egging on the SEC to go after him, which I find disgusting. I find that deplorable. I find that despicable. And now what makes it worse is that Richard Hart is actually fighting for these guys' rights. These guys who are spitting on him, shitting on him, now he's fighting for their rights because he's fighting for all of cryptocurrency's rights. And that's why Richard Hart's going to have his day in the sun. But these guys who come out and denounce people without any evidence, no facts whatsoever. And I'm really trying to think, why are these guys doing it? Why is this like all across cryptocurrency? So I think that there's three reasons. One, Richard fuds their bags. So these guys are ETH maxis, and he comes and creates Pulsechain. And he also is fudding Bitcoin. So because money's tied to survival, people are your words. I mean, this is why crypto Twitter is so vile. When it comes to money, humans are so vile because it's tied to survival. So when you're fudding somebody's bags, you're basically like fudding you're fudding someone's survival. I still cannot believe that I spent 25 minutes talking to myself. Oh my gosh. So yeah, where was I? So that was point one. Point two, the outrage marketing. That pissed a lot of people off, and these guys are that type of people. And three, they have no allocations. And I guarantee if these guys got allocations in Pulsechain and Richard Hart went up to them and said, hey, I've created Pulsechain. It's a fork of Ethereum. It's the world's largest free airdrop. All your followers will have free tokens, and I'll give you 10% of the Pulsechain supply. These guys will be shilling the hell out of this. They'll be shilling the hell out of this. So that's something that is like, yeah. You know what? This is a business, right? So there's actually no. I actually see
keep on enabling the worst.
Oh, stop it! Stop your crying. They actually have no. I have no problem with that. I've got no problem with that. What I have a problem with is the intellectual dishonesty. To call somebody a scammer, but then go and dump on your followers is intellectually dishonest, and then come up with all these excuses, these little piss weak excuses. No one's buying it. It was an impulsive decision. I mean, you know what? I sympathize with that because I know how hard it is. And I'm only now just seeing how hard it is because one of the things that I was going into is that I am now a team member with XUSD. So every week I get paid in tokens, and they asked me to join the team and they offered me this at the start. I was like, no, I'm not interested. But then more people came up to me. More people came up to me. So I was like, okay, all right, maybe there's something here. So I had a look. I did my research. And after about a week or two of investigating, I was like, you know what? I actually really love the idea of this. And if I love the idea of this and I can get paid for talking about it, then why the hell not? So I can see how even that decision, people now who are like, they'll be attacking surfacing. And I'm like, wow, I can see now. I have to really, I can't, I have to be very, I have to be careful because I try to be as neutral and an objective as possible. So I can't just go, no, you're a dick. Surfacing's right. So I'll go and I'll put it into the chat. I'm like, okay, these guys are saying this. What is our counterpoint to this? Because I'm not going to pretend that those comments aren't there. I want to be as honest as possible, but I can see how instantly in my mind it's like, well, I want to defend. I got to defend this because I'm being paid by these guys. And this is why the whole political system is on its way out. This is why the whole like traditional media system is on its way out, because everything is just paid for. So you can't even talk about the truth anymore because it's all about selling newspapers through selling headlines, selling advertisements through selling headlines. That's what it comes down to. And you also have to not speak out against the people who are paying for you. So if you've got people who own your company, you cannot speak out against them. This is something that is totally wrong. So I don't want that energy in cryptocurrency because it's just bringing the same crap, the same problems of that world into this world. And so the vast majority of influencers are doing this. But I have no problem with that as long as they maintain honesty and integrity, which in this case, they're not, because they've judged Richard Hart, they've called for the SEC to go after him, and they've done exactly what they've called him out for. So the hypocrisy is real. And so we as a community, we should really go after, not go after, that's the wrong word. We should make it known. We should use that same energy that we went after Charles with and let these guys know that what they did is wrong. But in my opinion, in a very intelligent, thoughtful, and loving kind of a way, you could say. I mean, this whole new campaign that somebody's trying to push, I mean, I've got a, I'm not going to say I've sort of got a problem with it because I think it's hypocritical, but it's better than nothing. Not from Somi, but we say we love we love you, but we don't even love each other, man. Like we're at each other's throat every second week. So yeah, it's like it's hypocritical, and I don't really want to say it. But if the community gets behind it, then I'll also get behind it. But if we come with that energy, at least the people who are there hundreds of thousands of followers who are getting sick and tired of this shit, they might see a thoughtful comment. They're not going to take note of someone going, you guys are fucking scammers, Pulsechain's way better. No one's going to take note of that because you're basically just pouring out negative energy and then you're shilling your bags, which is also negative energy. But if you do it in a thoughtful, considered way, somebody who's sick of these guys, who's scrolling through the comments and reading all the comments, hey, this guy said something really intelligent, really thoughtful. What does he follow? They'll go to your profile. Oh, he follows Pulsechain and Hex. What are they about? So this is how we can also onboard people, because we are trying to save people, because this is what all of cryptocurrency is. Somi has really pointed this out in all of his videos. This is what all of cryptocurrency is. It's just grifters who create these followings to sell on top of them. And by the time you hear about it, it's already too late for the vast majority of it. Oh, here's the top 10 altcoins. By the time you've heard about it, they've already bought it all, and then they're dumping on you. Or worse still, in a case like this, they get allocations, they're shilling it, and then they're dumping on you. So they brought no economic energy, personal economic energy into it, and they're selling you. I will tell you, my XUSD, the tokens that I get paid in, I'll never sell those tokens. But I'll tell you, I will sell XUSD, but I will buy that and I will sell it like everybody else. I have no issues whatsoever with trading. I've got no issues whatsoever. And even all the time, like probably 90% of the time, I will talk about things first and then I'll buy it after. At the start, it used to be because I liked to research it first and I didn't want to present myself as a shield channel, because that's the most important thing to me. Like this, I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to dump on anyone. I don't want anyone to get any negative perception of the thing, of my intentions. And now I've gotten to the point where I see, like when I talk about things, it pumps. So I also don't buy things for that very reason. I will wait till after I finish talking about it. And then so everybody else gets a bigger bag. Everybody else gets a better position than me. And that's no problem. I have an abundant mindset. Like I know about Atropa and I know about it before most people. So my bags are, they're good. They're great. They could be better. I could get buying it low and then getting a quick 50% pump would be great. But, you know, it's just not the vibe that I want to put out into the universe. And when I did do it once, I felt dirty. I was like, no, it doesn't have the right vibe. It made me feel dirty. So I haven't done it. I've done it once and I haven't done it. To the best of my knowledge, I've done it once. And every other time it would have just been like coincidental. I mean, of course, I might talk about teddy bear now and I already have like teddy bear bags from like months ago, but it's a different kind of a vibe. These guys, we really need to make it known because now we're living in the age of truth. So all the cracks are starting to show. The light of truth is piercing its way through the dark clouds of all of this falseness. So these guys who present themselves like the good guys, these guys are the rot. They're the rot of that world coming into this world. And these guys are getting all the attention. That's what pisses me off. Richard Hart had to go to the lengths of doing the outrage marketing because these guys are getting all the attention. That's what pisses me off. So there's just going to be new waves of newbies that follow these guys and the same crap that they did before, they're going to be doing now. So for me, it's like, yeah, we really have to let them know in a positive kind of way, because I feel like the energy that we've put towards this is nowhere near the energy that we put towards Charles. And for me, putting the energy that we put towards Charles was like nowhere near. Like for me, this is much worse than what Charles did. Much, much worse. So yeah, and the reason why I brought this up is because for me, the Bible, the Quran, the Buddha Sutras, all those things, these are all parables. They're talking about principles, true principles. So yeah, I like this one. Matthew 23:23. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites. You give 1/10 of your spices, mint, dill, and cumin, but you have neglected the important matters of the law, justice, mercy, and faithfulness. You should have practiced the latter without neglecting the former. So in this case, these guys aren't even giving 1/10. So basically, they're just shilling their bags, and then they don't care about you. They don't care about you. If they cared about you, they'd be telling their followers, for example, that, hey, the world's largest free airdrop on Pulsechain, you might have some free tokens there, but it's not in their interest to talk about it because they don't want the economic energy to go there. They're only interested in talking about the things that will bring their things economic energy. So they've neglected, here, I think it's Jesus who said this. Here, Jesus would have said justice, mercy, and faithfulness, but you could replace that with just the true mind. So whatever the qualities of the true mind are, which they don't have. They don't have. So we really need to keep putting it out there because we are the shining hill on the city. Where else? Where else are there people like, I'm not saying this to toot my own horn, but where else in all of cryptocurrency do you get people like me who really care for you in a way that I put you before me? Somi's exactly the same. Do you see any other influencers like this? Not to the best of my knowledge. Not to the best of my knowledge. It's not to say that they're all bad guys, but there's just a different vibe. There's a different consciousness. There's a different energy here. Why? Because of Richard Hart. That was another thing that I was ranting on about, was that these guys, they denounce Richard Hart because they don't have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. In other words, they can't listen to people with their heart. They're only judging from their minds. They're only judging from their thoughts. We have learned to hear Richard with the heart. That's why as soon as I saw Maria talk, I was like, I'm in. I'm all in. I saw it pump. I'm like, man, I'm all in. Maria's just like, I heard him talk. My skepticism is gone. Like, he's the dude. I could feel the sincerity of his words. I could feel that there was only good intentions there. And it's the same where I can also feel like after having a conversation, I'm like, I know who the rats are. I know who the scammers are. It's very obvious because you can hear it in there. Your heart can really hear it if your mind is clear. So yeah, those are basically the main things that I was doing. So I reposted this out. Definitely put energy into this, guys. So I'll now go through some of these comments before I finish with that CRYPTY. So many comments. This is no wonder why so many people were joining, because there was all these comments. It's so bad. I can't believe. Wow. So if anyone goes back and listens to this, there'll be a point after this video where there's like 25 minutes of silence. So I'm gonna have to pin a comment Oh, bro, how embarrassing. Bro. Yeah. And there was even my probably people were commenting and messaging me on Telegram, crying on stream. Let's see how long it takes. It took so long. How embarrassing. Let's see how long this was. So 10:03. Oh my God. 10:03, no sound. I'm gonna see if there's any questions in here. So boy. Doesn't look like there was any questions. It's the wolf moon got him crazy. Someone said, sorry, I think it was Papa Shred said, go back to read your chat. Was there any questions in there that anybody actually asked? I'll try and answer those questions, but really it looks like a lot of laughing and no sound because I'm a noob. Oh my God, that was a good... Oh, wow, sound. Wow, but I got 3 super chats. 3 super chats. Thanks for the super chats, guys. No, 4 super chats. It's the most super chats I've ever got on a live stream. So maybe I should do it more often. Boy, so gosh, 20 minutes. Oh, embarrassing amateur. There we go. Let's put this up here. I saw amateur, definitely amateur hour. Or a good amateur half an hour anyway. So was there any questions? Okay, all right. So here we go. So here was the comments here. Can I get a super chat refund? I can give you. I don't know if I can do it. I'll do it. No problem. But thanks for keeping him in the chat, guys. Yes, thanks. I appreciate that. Can you repeat the last? Yeah. Gosh, so embarrassing. Okay, so you were saying. All right. So positivity is the key. Yeah. So really that was the core of this. I feel like the energy's died off, but we really need to remuster the energy and push the energy into this in a positive kind of a way. So the internet is used to trolls. We passed by, but yeah, because I mean, again, we're like, because I believe we're in the age of truth. So I believe this extends, like cryptocurrency is really just a piece of the puzzle of the age of truth. I believe we're in the age of salvation. I believe we're in the age of, like, this is Armageddon. We're undergoing Armageddon right now. We're in, like, the book of Revelations is now, like, we're in that time right now. The prophecy of the book of Revelations is happening. Like, I believe also the Savior walks amongst us, but people can't recognize that because people, like, he comes as a thief in the night. So people will not even be able to see that. And people will just think it's photoshopped anyway, especially with AI now. People are not going to know. So because it's the age of truth, then, in my opinion, all the falseness is being washed away. So the light is coming to the surface. So we represent the true ethos. We represent what cryptocurrency, what true decentralization wants to be. This is my opinion. It represents what it wants to be. So it's reflective of nature. And because it's reflective of nature, I mean, decentralization is reflective of nature. So because the more that this entity reflects nature, the more that this creation represents nature, the more that it will proliferate. So this is why, energetically speaking, this is like, it's like a pendulum swing. So when, I mean, you know, for me, climate change is like, it seems to be self-evident. I saw a great tweet from Elon Musk the other day where he said, yep, climate change is real, but it's not as like bad as the alarmists say it is. And that's the position that I sit in, but it's the extremeness. So in other words, when, like, I have noticed that the extreme nature of the weather fluctuations is different to when I was a child. Could this just be like normal? I don't know. But given that there's all this evidence of climate change, then okay, yeah, it seems plausible. But I don't think like, oh, the world is going to burn on fire. And I don't think it's going to be like some cataclysmic event. Like, humans are so egoic. Nature's just going to fix itself. But it's like the extreme. So if this is like more hot over here, then it's going to be more cold over here. And then vice versa. And so this pendulum swing of nature and cycles. So now we have this pendulum swing of like falseness going to truth. And so Richard, like, it's at the worst that he's ever been. The SEC, the Interpol. I don't think it's ever. It might. I mean, this is probably as bad as it's ever going to get. Like all the scammer, the FUD, and this is like the pinnacle of it. Like right on the breaking point where the energy is like going to shift to the other kind of direction, in my opinion. So yeah, we really need to keep putting out the good, positive, grateful energy. So 100% agree. Best content creators and influencers. Yeah, man, we have some of the best on here. So appreciate you, Somi, Khaled. Khaled's a great dude. Somi, Saint Wolf, great dude. So absolutely, man. So, and even all the OG Hexagon, like, yeah, there's some, like, maybe there's some that we don't all like. I mean, I can't think of any that I don't like. All the ones that I've heard, I really like. And I think that they're all like really, really nice guys. They all seem like really, really nice people to me. So yeah, it definitely seems like a different kind of vibe here. So, okay, so I don't want to refund. Oh, yeah, no worries, bro. Wolfmoon requires you RAM understanding it's a trickster, and that will set you free to use that energy towards a collective consciousness. I mean, even in myself, like, this is just a piece. The cryptocurrency is a piece in the puzzle. Even in myself, I feel like I'm at the precipice of this consciousness revolution. So also, in the same way that, like, it's like a game. It's like a game. So as Richard's leveling up, as we level up and overcome ourselves, it's like we get stronger, but the level gets harder. The boss gets more difficult to defeat. We got more abilities, more strength, more power, more mana, but the boss gets harder and harder. So we level up, but the game also levels up. That's what I also feel in my own personal life. It's like, honestly speaking, like, you know, I advocate for eating well, exercising, meditating every day, living a fulfilled life, being very diligent. I've really struggled with a lot of those things lately. Really, really struggled in the last few months, like since I've come back from Korea, because going to Korea, like doing these intense meditations, like transforms my mind. So there's all this huge surge of positivity which comes into my mind. The light of God enters in, transforms my being. But as that happens, the light cannot exist with the darkness. It cannot. So the darkness has to come out. It has to come out. It's just the way it is. It's just energy. The light cannot exist with the dark. So the darkness is coming out. And I'm just like, it's been like the most difficulty I've had with like eating and exercise and like my laziness in the last in years. Like, it's been the most difficult because my mind is leveling up, my consciousness is leveling up, but the boss is getting harder. The conditions of the world are getting harder and harder. They're the tests. They're just tests, but they're getting harder and harder to pass. So yeah, I mean, it could be, but I'm sure that you kind of understood what the point of that is. The principle of, like, you know, you it's that same principle anywhere. If you like put an intense state of energy against another intense state of energy, like, they don't blend. So like the opposition of those forces is like it gets like exaggerated as they increasingly intensify. No such thing as bad, not your circumstances that make you. It's a state of mind. Definitely. Richard's real name isn't So Fortune. In Polish means... Really? Maybe he is a scammer. Oh. Jesu, I'm struggling to find balance also. Right now, focusing on grinding work, maximum hours, and investing. Workouts and strength have dropped. Hopefully it's worth it. You know, and especially with all this crypto stuff, bro, it's like, yeah, I mean... because I'm trying to like build a following, I'm also trying to be on Twitter a lot, and it really like, so much garbage and negativity that you really have to like, yeah. So let's end on some positivity. Adam, love you too, bro. Let's end on some positivity here. So CRYPTY girl, the gorgeous CRYPTY girl. I hope she does more things like this. Look at this. Not only is this a phenomenal video, I mean, she's very attractive. So even from a marketing perspective, it really gets more and more views. So I hope she does more of this stuff. So CRYPTY girl, if you're listening, please do more. Brilliant video. So, and it just goes hand in hand. So if you guys haven't seen this, I mean, I've shared it out, but have a listen to this. For me, this is just so mega bullish on Pulsechain, and it's worth listening to again and again and again.
Pulsechain will be pumped so insanely high this cycle. Here's a recap on why you should be absolutely bullish on Pulsechain going to the moon and Richard Hart's case versus the SEC being dismissed. The person Trump appointed as his ethics advisor is the same law firm, Quinn Emanuel LLP, representing both Richard Hart against the SEC and represented Elon Musk against the SEC. Previously, the SEC Deputy Chief of Staff, Michael Lift.
So just on that, FYI, there was also a tweet from Brett Tepp, who's a known Pulsechain dev, Richard Hart dev, that he tweeted out to something to like Elon Musk. Hey, Elon Musk's team and Donald Trump Jr.'s team, can you guys get your team to reach out to me? Because we've communicated in the past. There was this kind of a tweet. So people have been speculating, and it's fun to speculate, but basically, like, you know, people have been speculating that Donald Trump going into power as well is also bullish for Richard Hart, that maybe he'll be sympathetic towards Richard Hart's plight. Obviously, Gary Gensler's corrupt, the SEC's corrupt, so he's going to be sympathetic towards his plight. So not sure what you were talking about here, Adam, but yeah, let me know in the comments, bro.
Another one of Richard's lawyers was the former senior trial counsel at the SEC, Chris Davis, and a former U.S. Department of Justice lawyer, Joshua Smeltzer. Now, who did Trump just appoint to be the Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Services? The SENS Foundation CEO, the same SENS Foundation that Richard Hart and the Hexicans raised $27 million for longevity research, and whose founder, Aubrey de Grey of the SENS Foundation, was just on the Hex conference 3 days ago, January 8th. And
so the importance... The cut of your jib. You say it all the time. I love it, man. The cut of your jib. I take it as like some kind of like what you're wearing or something. That's how I've always taken it. We'll have to look that up at the end of this stream. But the other important thing about this is like some people read into this a lot, and then some people don't read into it all and just go like, people are trying to make connections. But in the world, well, I was going to say in the world of politics, but in the world, it's all networks. It's all the people that you know. And this is how you get your boys to help you out. Like, this is what politics is. This is why, again, like fix the money, fix the world. I don't ascribe to that. I think fix the consciousness, fix the world, and then the money will get fixed. Then the perfect monetary system will emerge. Like, it's just going to be the same boys club. Trump will end up it's like, you know, communism, for example. It's really good on paper. It's really good on paper. And if there's a really good leader, then it's great. It's great for the country. But what ends up happening, you end up forming like the boys club, and it's an imperfect system. So it ends up being like extremely corrupt. And it's the same as capitalism now. Capitalism is a really, really fantastic system. But now basically everything's just who pays for your pockets, who pays for you to be in the media, who pays for you to be a politician. Whoever's paying for you, you need to make sure that they keep paying you. So the integrity disappears, the honesty disappears, the truth disappears because money controls it. And so no matter what, as long as money keeps controlling the world, so in a way, like, fix the money, fix the world, but it's greed. So if we're still using the same systems, it's just going to be like different monetary systems that are going to be influencing things in a different kind of a way. So yeah, okay, maybe Donald Trump is not so bad and Richard Hart's not so bad, but when these guys disappear, who's going to replace them? For example, maybe you end up getting some corrupt guy who ends up like abusing the powers that cryptocurrency has granted the political system, for example. So again, we have to fix the consciousness first. We have to eradicate those flaws in the human mind so they never occur again.
And remember when Donald Trump Jr.'s X account was hacked and the tweet was written, "Richard Hart is innocent. When I become president, I'm going to burn the SEC." To which Don Jr. replied afterward in reply to the hacker, "You had some good content and good job." And Donald Trump Jr. currently follows Richard Hart on X, and Pulsechain's lead dev at Bree Tepp was allegedly contacted by both Elon Musk's and Trump's teams. And Nuclear Herbs, a Pulsechain investor and attorney, just verified with the Finland Helsinki Police Department Senior Superintendent Detective Sarah Stola that there are no public documents available in regard to the Finland tax fraud case. And to remedy this, a Pulsechain community member, Jacob, just submitted to the European Parliament a petition to stop unfair practices, a call to investigate Finland's actions against Richard Schuler.
So none of these talking points are being presented by the mainstream media. Not one. You would think maybe just one would slip through the cracks. So then I'm just like, wow, I didn't actually think it was this corrupt. I didn't think the self-interest was so deep. But it's really just like when you've got the same garbage people citing the same garbage things, it just proliferates. So the falseness can just spread like wildfire. It's horrendous. Like I would have thought just one of these talking points made it through in the mainstream media, but none of them want to take that. Why? Because we are also, humans have confirmation bias. If I believe he's a scammer and it's against my bags to believe that he's not a scammer because I want that monetary volume coming into my tokens, then I'm not going to even present anything that shines a positive light on Richard Hart. That's why this new foundation that Decentralized Me is creating is, I think it's like mega bullish. Mega bullish.
And Richard Hart's confidence from his Christmas speech December 24th, in which he said that he has never been safer, he's bulletproof, everything is going good on his side, and that he's been preparing for this exact type of thing his whole life, and that he's excited for the future. And in his tweet yesterday, January 10th, he said, "What more can I do? What's left? Win and keep winning," tells us as a Pulsechain community that we're about to have the Richard Hart case dismissed and that Pulsechain will be pumped so insanely high this cycle. That is not financial advice, but that is why personally I'm so bullish and why you should be too.
So yes, great video. Great video. So the other thing as well, I'll answer this in just a second. Adam, the other thing as well, I'm not sure if it was in there. I don't remember seeing it. I thought it was in there, but the other thing was Nuclear Herbs was these guys, the lawyers, Quinn Emanuel, these guys are like world class. What makes them world class is like, I think he even has mentioned Nuclear Herbs that they're undefeated. So if you're undefeated, you're not going to taint your reputation by picking a losing case. Does this necessarily mean 100% certainty that they're going to win? No. But the probability of them winning is very high. And then obviously they have a high degree of confidence in winning to even take the case on in the first place. I also think that that is a mega bullish sign. So yeah, these guys just do not lose. They do not lose. They're the best in the business, and they're the best in the business for a reason. And people want to maintain their clean sheet. And the way that they do this is by keep going for the winning games. They're not necessarily just, I mean, of course they're interested in money, like Richard's going to pay them a lot, but there's other cases that they can take. And for them to damage their reputation, it's not worth more than the money that they'd get from Richard Hart. So yeah. Anyway, I agree. You fix the money and you give 1,000 people the same amount and we'll end up in the hands of a few. Is it the money or the culture? Yeah. So the culture is created by the mind. That's why, in my opinion, fix the consciousness, fix the mind, fix the world. And so if we all it ends up in the hands of the few, because this is why, I mean, all this in this current world is bullish. That it's basically like there's all these connections with all these people with Richard Hart. That's bullish in this current world that we're living in right now, where basically humans are living in a self-centered way. So if I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Hook up your bros. You know, we all tell each other like, oh, I'm going to start talking about this coin, or, you know, buy this one, boys. You know, you hook up the boys or the gals. You hook them up, right? That's just the world that we live in. But we should have that same mindset towards everybody, because we're all actually just one. But if we don't have that mindset that we're all one, if we don't have the perspective of universe perspective in our mind, then there's always going to be some form of corruption. If we have self-centeredness and greed, there's always going to be some form of corruption. And even like, it's just so obvious and so self-evident to me that it's almost like it's a very frustrating thing because it's as factually obvious, and like that every single day that I look at Twitter, I'm like, yeah, my thesis on the mind is just supported again and again and again and again. So the Don. Yes. So January 12th, weren't you saying, bro? January 12th was the pump. So we had a pump, bro. We had a pump. Like January 12th was a day where it broke out of all these trends. So I don't know if you've just started listening to this or not. But yeah, there's going to be a period there where there's a lot of silence. What an embarrassing thing. Anyway, thanks very much, everyone. Thanks for the super chats. Sorry for that long period of time, but thank you for sticking around. There's now 300 people watching this stream. So thanks everyone for sticking around. Hope you enjoyed the content. And yeah, let's take care of each other and let's really put the word out to Bankless.